We have breaking news. The Chicago Bears have signed offensive lineman Matt Pryor to a 1-year deal. I got Stevo in the building with me. We're going to talk about it and break it down right after this.
Into Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Chicago Bears Central. Got Stevo in the house with me. We gonna get right into the breaking news for the Chicago Bears. Ryan Poles goes ahead and add more O-line depth to the Chicago Bears by signing Matt Pryor to a 1-year deal. This guy's 6'7", 332 pounds. Stevo has had times with Philadelphia, Indianapolis, and spent some time last year with the San Francisco 49ers. Didn't play much last year, but for those people that's into the PFF grades, the guy is graded as an 88.5 and has a pass block win rate at 83%. Stevo, what's your initial thoughts on this signing right here?
For sure, it's most definitely it's a depth piece, of course. Like we all know, he wasn't a starter for the last few years, so he's not a starting piece, but he's definitely a solid and valuable backup, and that's something we've been needing and craving for this offensive line. And he's older; he's 29 years old, and for the most part, up until we got Nate Davis, we had a pretty young line. So I like to see to add more depth and more veterans to the O line. He's also a person that's used to the system that we're going to run here. If you know anything about the system that Shane Rogers runs, especially on the formations that he like to run, it's a lot similar to what he's seen in the 49ers system. So it just all around makes sense. Like you said, big ass dude, like somebody just said at the Cobb is he's 6'7", big as hell. And it just reminds me of like one of the last games against Green Bay when we had a lot of old linemen out and it just went to hell. Like we couldn't hold anything down. We was getting beat off of one move, which is a swipe to the hands. And somebody of his caliber that been in the league for almost just about 10 years, he ain't gonna be able to do those type of things when somebody goes down. Hopefully not, but if somebody goes down, he's a viable person to put there, and he's gonna be pretty much serviceable for the most part.
Of course, and I agree with you. I like to pick up. I think that you got to go out here and bring some professionals in here, and you bring some more competition into the room. This is a guy who started before, who has, rolled the bench before. So he just going to put himself in a prime position to at least be one of those depth pieces for the offensive line. Steve-O, what I really like is that the guy has had reps at the tackle spot and the guard spot. So it's just adding on to those versatile linemen that Ryan Poles has picked up these last few days. First with that Ryan Bates trade, another versatile guy. Now you go get a guy like Pryor, who adds some versatility, a little bit more versatility to this Bears offensive line. And one of the things that a lot of people has brought up is that he can be used as that swing tackle spot. What do you think about the versatility of this guy just early on?
I mean, that's one thing Poe's been showing he knows how to do is evaluate talent at the O-line position, being a former O-lineman himself. And that's one thing he preached in when he first came here is getting the O-line right and preaching versatility because he knows it's very hard to keep the same O-line the whole season. It's the most physical position in the game of football. They get the most hits, they getting the most injuries, and you got to be pretty deep in that spot, especially if you're gonna make a swing at the bowl and even the playoffs. It takes a long time and it takes a lot of work and a lot of processing to build up a solid, sound old lineman core. And it's just not the starters. And that's one thing he said he's gonna do. He's gonna build these trenches right. And I know everybody, like I said yesterday, it ain't the sexiest name. It's not gonna be the sexiest name, but I'm gonna be quite honest. Some of the best old linemen I've ever seen, you probably knew one motherfucker on
there. For real.
and that's for the casuals. Let me say that for the people that know football, they know who they are for. But for the casuals, 9 times out of 10, for example, 49ers, most people know is Trent Williams.
Most people, yep.
You don't know everybody else, but they solid. They've been around the league and they play solid at that position. So that's what Poles always said he's gonna do, and he's been continue to do it and proving what he says the whole time.
For sure. And I think that a lot of people fall in love with the big names. And sometimes those guys, yeah, they're gonna get all the shine, but you got to show credit to the other guys that's helping those guys be the superstars that they are. So with this signing, like, look, man, it ain't nothing that's gonna, that you're gonna be like, oh yes, this guy's gonna be here for 5-6 years. This for me, this is just one of those things to just help kind of fill out the depth spot for your offensive line. Because like you mentioned in that last game versus Green Bay, offensive line was down with some injuries and we was getting whooped. You know what I'm saying? And this is what a lot of people give criticism to Ryan Poles when they say he hasn't invested enough in the offensive line, and I disagree with him. He's drafted multiple offensive linemen. He signed multiple offensive linemen. Some of these guys panned out. Some of these guys got hurt and was out. So yeah, we when we evaluate how much Poles has invested in this offensive line, you gotta look at everything. You can't just look at one side of it. You have to look at everything. The guys drafted, the guys signed, the guys let go, the guys that went down with injury. You have to evaluate everything. But I do appreciate the continued effort for Ryan Poles to try to build out the trenches because they brought on a lot of defensive linemen as well. So I'm gonna take that.
Yeah, and like I said, he's probably easily eaten, if not the biggest dude on our line. So, and I just hope he's somebody that could be a mentor to uh Braxton Jones. I mean, I understand Braxton's he's still considered young in the league and everything, but coming out of TCU, he's around the same size and a little bit taller, but he's been around the same size. And one thing I do know from remembering him, you ain't finna just bull rush his ass. That's just something he ain't finna do. So hopefully he get it right and understand where it's coming from. As we has Drip coming into the building, what is your thoughts on Matt?
I really like this signing because per what you guys were talking about, it's a versatile offensive lineman, and we talked a little bit about this. I think in the nightly episode last night is that when you're building out depth on that offensive line, you like to have versatile pieces that can fit into a guard, a center, a guard, and a tackle. And that's what Matt Pryor is going to be doing for the Chicago Bears. And he's going to help kind of push that nature of competition anyway. But having versatile pieces as depth is good because you can build up that continuity because they can play multiple positions. And with how banged up the Chicago Bears offensive line was last year, having that versatile player come in here on a 1 year, it's a 1 year deal. He's 29 years old, 1 year deal. If it doesn't work out, no harm, no foul. But I like the potential what he can bring to the offensive line.
Agree. And Hayes, I brought it up to Stevo. I love to get your thoughts on it. Now, Ryan Poles in the last few days has brought in two versatile and experienced offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. Now you got Ryan Bates, who is able to play multiple positions in the interior. Now you get a guy that's pretty much played just about every position on the line outside of center. So what are your thoughts on building out and adding on to that versatility, if you want to just kind of further elaborate on that aspect of it?
Well, I think when you have two pieces in both Bates and now Pryor that both are extremely versatile, I think Pryor's he's played inside and outside I think he's played all the positions. Then you have Matt Pryor now who can operate a guard or a tackle. I think it's smart. Now you can look at it in the draft and you could bring in, regardless if you do want to go in the first round or wherever you want to go, you look at the talent overall, bringing in talent, right? Because you have pieces that can move around up and down regardless of where you draft that player at. Because now you're probably projecting, and like I said, unless you go first round with the offensive lineman, whoever you're bringing in is going to at least start off the bench. You're probably going to develop them coming off the bench. So you're bringing in those versatile pieces. And let's not overlook either. J. Tyree Carter's still under contract. He's another versatile piece they've used on both sides. Doug Kramer, he's primarily just a center, but another young piece that you can develop along. So I see what they're trying to do here. And really overall, the offense, you're bringing in a lot of versatile pieces that are both effective in the run, effective in the pass game, because we're for once going to have an offense that hopefully is going to be a little bit more dynamic. So it all makes sense.
For sure. Definitely.
You know what I thought of when I instantly seen this? I'm like, ooh, I ain't gotta see Larry Borum no more. Like, damn. Like, that's why I instantly thought, like, Larry Borum, he's the perfect, like, he's better than Larry Borum. Just period. That's just the end of the story. He's better than Larry Borum. And like you said, hold on now. Come on, Kev. But Kev can't be sending me shit.
Y'all know, you know, Kev don't have no goddamn decision making on nothing. He just be sending shit to be sending shit. You don't think about the fact we in high alert right now. Kev over here sending God knows what we send a Rice Spice video.
That man said breaking news. We like, hold on. Hey, it's crazy. But I do got a question for y'all. now that we know, I understand the offensive linemen that still came that that have been picked up for the last few days. Is this kind of showing that Ryan Poles is a believer in Braxton Jones a little bit more, or you kind of still at the same spot where you were originally at with it towards the end of the season? Like, you still got to bring that competition. Like, what are you guys really thinking like now with the added offensive lineman coming to the squad?
I think Poles is still high on Braxton, as people should still be high on Braxton. It's just now it's questions around him, right? He still has tremendous talent. That's not nobody's questioning his talent. It's just, are you going to be able to bring it all together? How are you going to up from the potential that you had when you came to the league? The problem with Braxton right now is, and if it's too harsh, please let me know. I know it can be harsh sometimes. Is that Braxton hasn't progressed. He's still basically the same player that we drafted, which is a really tough, talented player. But he hasn't refined any of that potential yet. And hopefully that's what he does this season.
Bro, like, it's literally, I feel like everybody on this line, he has the utmost confidence in their talent. I think the Sanders is just to prove that he don't know if they're going to stay healthy. And that's what we seen last year. A lot of these dudes take hits. Braxton took a hit. Tevin took a hit. Nate took a hit. Even besides the emotional side of things, he took a hit injury wise as well. And you need some more depth. Even though I don't think we missed the game with Darnell, right? Still, you need somebody there just in case. And that's the things I like to see for what comes with it. But it's a good old signing for me. It's a good signing. We need depth.
For sure. And I say continue to bring in and evaluate and bring competition to the squad. I say, what if you really that dude and you really can go ahead and separate yourselves from the others, go out and win a competition battle. That's just how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? Because I agree with both of you guys. For me, the biggest thing with Braxton Jones is the inconsistency. I believe he's very capable. It's just all about establishing himself as that consistent guy. And sometimes you see him have really good games versus the Bull Rush, and then there's some games that he gets absolutely annihilated versus the Bull Rush. And like Hayes said, you need to see that progression, bro. You need to see that for real.
I don't know what's taking so long for his ass to get stronger. Like that's literally all he needs is to work on his ankle, his hands, work on his ankle, get stronger. That's all he needs.
Him and Patrick Williams are the same, suffering from the same shit right now. The same
flower
shit.
Shops.
like come on, man. Like somebody need to. The fact that the dude can't handle the Bull Rush still is crazy to me, though.
For sure.
That's a pro.
For sure. Got a super chat from TG. He said, bro, I came across Ghost of Judah Tribe page trying to clown y'all and lost chromosome list to do. Look, it's okay, man. They gonna hate, but they ain't gonna be in the number one spot. That's how I'm gonna just leave it. It's that simple. But I know everybody is anxious to get into it, so I'm gonna bring it up. The Chargers, they let go Mike Williams. I know me and Stevo was pretty much against it, but there's been a lot of correlation between Mike Williams and the wide receiver.
Say that for the nightly.
Oh, well,
I mean, we can go ahead and touch on it. Who you brought it up? I'm just saying, we're on it.
We could touch on this.
Just touch on it.
We could touch on
right price. I'm gonna keep it small here so we can talk about it more fleshed out tonight. But I'll say at the right price, I'm all for it. That's it.
For sure.
I'd rather go get a little FanDuel down to Jacksonville.
Not little FanDuel.
It's the fact it's fucked up that you knew exactly who I was.
Bro, we know who you talking about. FanDuel.
That's
cool. Yeah. I mean, I know he kind of had like a down tick in his year, but like if I had my choice between the two, like we said, we're gonna get more into it. But I get Calvin before I get Mike. But that's just me.
I can understand that, especially coming off only 3 games played last year for Mike Williams. But we'll talk about it.
Hey, just make sure y'all stay tuned in for that nightly episode. Y'all know it's going to be a little on the later side, but make sure you hit that notification bell and just be in tune so we had a whole squad ready to go. And we talk Bears moves and everything, but stay in tune. If there's anything else that's going to be coming out, we're going to be right back right here, reporting it live and giving y'all the best content from the number one spot. Tell them haters keep talking. Fellas, y'all got anything left? I got to go prepare my dinner.
No, man, I gotta go get ready for my son's concert, man. We'll see y'all later tonight, man.
All right, peace, y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. You got any feedback, comments, questions, concerns for us, hit us up at chicagobearscentral@gmail.com. You can follow the show on all social media platforms at Shy Bear Central. If you want to chime in and give your thoughts on what's been happening with the Bears, make sure you call in to be a part of our mailbag episodes. The number is 773-242-9336. That's it from us. Until more news come out, we're going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Chi-Town up and bear down, baby.